Alright, what is going on, everyone? My name is Vincelli. Welcome to my YouTube channel, the YouTube channel that discusses personal development, finances, and everyday life experiences. And in today's video, I'm going to be speaking to you guys about something a lot of people have been asking me about, and that is living in Los Angeles versus living in Miami. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I currently live in Miami. I've been living here for a while, but there was a time in my life a few years ago where I lived in LA. Full disclosure, I did not live in Los Angeles for very long. I lived there for a few months during the summer, but it was long enough for me to understand what life was like living there, what Los Angeles had to offer, and what were some of its drawbacks. And I've been living in Miami long enough now for me to understand the city and get to know it very, very well. And a lot of people have been asking me about it, asking me, what my experiences have been in both cities. And frankly, this is something that a lot of people have been researching online. There's a lot of movement between California and Florida, between Los Angeles and Miami. And there's actually a lot of people from LA moving to parts of Florida, including Miami these days. So this is something that I think a lot of people are looking to understand a little bit more about. And I'm going to dive into the living experiences between both LA and Miami. So I'm going to get into that in just a moment. But first, whether you've seen my content before or if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I come out with other great and similar content. And if you end up liking this video, go ahead and smash that like button. It's really going to help me, guys. It really helps me a lot. There's a lot of people leaving California these days, and there's quite a bit of them moving to Florida. I wonder why. All right, guys, let me dive into it right now. There are 10 things I want to highlight about living in Los Angeles and Miami. And the number one thing I want to highlight is the size of the two cities. And I'm not just talking about the population size, I'm also talking about just the geographic size of both cities. And Miami is a very big city. There's about 6 million people that live in the whole Miami metropolitan area. This includes Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach. So 6 million people, that's a lot of people. However, that's literally a fraction of the size of the greater Los Angeles area. There's about 12 million people that live in Metro LA. And then I think if you include parts like Riverside and San Bernardino, I think that population goes up to about 18 million people. So in the greater Los Angeles area, there's about 18 million people, and it's a huge area. It's just, I'm telling you, it's a very sprawling city. If you've never been to Los Angeles, or if you currently live there right now, you know what I'm talking about, but it's a very big and sprawling city. And that means that it takes a lot of time to go places. When I lived in LA, I felt like there were a lot of things to do. However, I needed to plan my day if I wanted to do something. If I wanted to go to the mall, if I wanted to go to the beach, if I wanted to go downtown, if I wanted to go to any neighboring neighborhood, I really needed to plan my day and incorporate a lot of commute time in my plans, because just things, even though you're living in the same city, things are just so far away because the city itself is very expansive. It's very sprawling, and there's a lot of people in that city. Miami, on the other hand, I don't know why it's still a very big city. 6 million people is a very large city. It's one of the largest cities in the United States, but I feel like it's just not as expansive. Things seem to be a little bit more concentrated in the downtowns or in the city centers of Miami. If I think of places where I'd want to go, whether it be downtown or Brickell, Coconut Grove, the Miami Design District, even Miami Beach, those are all 10 to 15 minutes away from each other. Whereas in LA, if you want to go from downtown or Century City to the beach, that can take like half an hour or 45 minutes depending on traffic, or even more, even an hour. So I think the size of the two cities, while they're both very, very big cities, you definitely see how Los Angeles is a lot bigger than Miami. It has a much higher population, and it's much more of an expansive city. With that size, of course, comes a lot of traffic, and There's traffic in both cities. I will say though that the traffic in Los Angeles is particularly horrendous. The freeways get clogged. When you see these scenes on the news of Carmageddon where there's just traffic backed up for miles, that's LA, that's Los Angeles. I think typically they're showing you footage of like Interstate 405 or the 101 in LA. So traffic is absolutely horrendous. The one thing I didn't understand about living in LA when it comes to traffic is that there's traffic at random times of the day. I don't know why. Like, typically if you're living in a big city, you could expect some traffic during rush hour. So, the morning rush hour times and the evening rush hour hours, typically see a lot of traffic in pretty much all major cities in the United States and around the world. In LA, you'll see traffic like at 11 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, or even at 4 a.m. There's gonna be traffic. Who the heck is on the road at 4 a.m.? I don't understand. I don't know of any other city that has traffic at random hours outside of the normal rush hour times. So traffic in LA was particularly horrendous. Again, I think it's due to its size, its expansiveness, and its population. It's a huge metro area. With that being said, traffic in Miami might not be as bad. Yes, it is horrendous during rush hour. But what is bad is the driving. The people here are nuts. I don't know how these people got driver's licenses, to be honest. The driving in Miami is special. I've seen people do things that I wouldn't even think to see in a movie. So I might criticize Los Angeles traffic, but I gotta say there's something special happening with Miami driving. People do things that not only shouldn't be allowed, I can't believe they actually thought of doing these things. Who thinks of making a right turn from the left lane on a 3-lane major boulevard? Who does that? Who thinks of doing that, honestly, in the middle of the day with tons of traffic? Only in Miami. So yeah, the second point I wanted to bring up was the driving, and there are differences between the two. The main difference being that LA sees a lot more traffic, but Miami sees a lot worse driving. A little bit less traffic, but a lot worse driving. Okay, the next point I want to bring up is culture. How the two cities tend to be a little bit different in terms of the vibe, the culture, the feel. And I feel like Miami has a lot more of a Latin American and European culture associated with it. And that's just because of the fact that there's a lot of people from Latin America and quite a few people from European countries as well. Miami has had several waves of immigration from places like Cuba and Colombia, Venezuela. There are a lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans in Miami as well. And you also have a lot of people from Europe, a lot of Europeans. I've met a lot of Russians, a lot of Ukrainians, a lot of people from Italy. So like straight up Italians, not Italian Americans, but actual Italians. So there's a lot of people in Miami from all around the world. And I think that has affected Miami in a way, or it's given Miami a bit more of a international feel and a little bit less of an American vibe. It feels less American here than it would in other parts of the United States. Even, other parts of the United States that have had a lot of immigration from all around the world, like New York or LA or San Francisco. Miami tends to be almost like an intermediary between the United States and Latin America. And I find a lot of Europeans also seem to be very comfortable visiting and living in Miami as well. I also think this has contributed to Miami having a bit more of a laid back vibe to it. I don't think Miami has that hustle and bustle that other big cities in the United States has. Whereas LA, I do feel LA tends to be a bit more of a busier city. With that being said, there are a lot of people that have migrated from all over the United States and a lot of people from all around the world. Most notably, again, from Latin America. But with that being said, the Latin Americans in Los Angeles are not the same Latin Americans who have migrated to Miami. Miami sees a lot of Latin Americans from the Caribbean, like I said, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Colombia, whereas Los Angeles sees a lot of Latin Americans from Mexico and Central America. Los Angeles also has seen a lot of immigrants come in from Asia, for example, places like the Philippines or China. So different vibe, different feel. I feel like the people in LA are a little bit more competitive, and I feel LA has a more distinct American feel. I don't feel like LA is that in between spot between the United States and Latin America. I feel like LA is distinctly American, whereas Miami is American, but it could also be seen as an extension of Latin America. I definitely feel that living here. Now, those cultural differences between Miami and Los Angeles has also affected the differences in cuisine. Miami has some great food, and particularly if you're a fan of Latin American or Caribbean cuisine, it is the place to be for that. Miami has great spots for Cuban food, Venezuelan, Colombian cuisine, Brazilian, Argentinian cuisine as well. And it also has some great Italian restaurants too. So Miami has that mix of great food from all over Latin America and Europe as well. Los Angeles, on the other hand, is known for its Mexican cuisine. That is fantastic. You'll find some amazing Mexican food in LA. And it's also very well known for its Asian cuisine, namely some awesome Chinese food, Vietnamese food as well. So there are some differences in the favorite cuisines in both cities. One thing I wish Miami had, which LA does currently have, is an In-N-Out burger. LA, you guys are lucky. You guys have In-N-Out burger all over the city. I know it's a West Coast, Western United States thing. I wish In-N-Out burger expanded towards the east of the United States and opened up some locations in Miami. In-N-Out burger is fantastic. Both cities have great cuisines, but one thing I do miss about LA is In-N-Out burger. If you've never been there before, check it out. And to those who live in LA, you guys are freaking lucky. I'm jealous of you guys. All right, another point I want to bring up, and this is really important if you have kids and you're thinking of moving to one of these cities, or if you're someone looking to study in either Miami or LA, and that is the schools, namely the universities. The University of Miami is a great institution, but this is where Los Angeles has Miami beat. No disrespect to the University of Miami, great school, great basketball and football programs. Honestly, I know a lot of people who went to the University of Miami. They're great people. That university produces a lot of smart people, but UCLA and the University of Southern California are the creme de la creme. These universities are in a league of their own. They're up there with the top universities of the United States and the top universities of the world. So LA, I have to say, is probably gonna be the place you'd wanna be in if you're looking to go to a top-notch university. Like I said, I really don't mean any disrespect to the University of Miami. It's a great school. Honestly, it's fantastic. But UCLA and USC, I mean, those really are, some of the top schools, the top institutions in the world. Their reputation and their credibility is pretty much second to none. So LA does have Miami beat in that sense. All right, let's go on to the next point, shall we? And the next thing I want to bring up is the weather. The weather in both cities. LA has been characterized as the city with ideal weather, and LA does have a Mediterranean climate. LA is known for its weather. It is known to have probably the most comfortable climate and the best weather in the entirety of the United States. I think LA and San Diego are both pretty famous for that reputation. Some people might debate that in the month of June, when LA suffers from June gloom, a lot of just gray skies, cloudy skies in the month of June. But Los Angeles does have some great weather. It is comfortable and warm all year round. From December till August, it stays relatively warm throughout the entirety of the year. LA has a Mediterranean climate with a lot of sunlight, a lot of sunshine, not a lot of rain, and just generally warm, comfortable weather. And that's why I think people in LA tend to be very active, because they have access to the beach and to the mountains pretty much all year round. They can go out hiking, running, surfing, pretty much any time of year. Miami, on the other hand, does not have a Mediterranean climate. It has a tropical climate. It is truly in the tropics. And that is evident when you come here, when you see all these tropical plants and trees around. You see coconut trees all over the place. And that means Miami has warm or hot weather throughout the entirety of the year. Winters in Miami are very comfortable as well. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s throughout most of the winter. Sunny skies. And generally low humidity as well. It doesn't get very humid in Miami in the winter. You have many sunny days, so Winter is a great time of year to be in Miami. It's also a great time of year to be in Los Angeles. In the summer, however, Miami gets very humid, and you do see these afternoon thunderstorms pop up just because of the buildup of humidity, the buildup of moisture in the air. So that's how the climates between Miami and Los Angeles would differ from one another. LA having more of a Mediterranean climate where it's comfortable all year round. It doesn't get too hot, it doesn't get too cold either. LA sees temperatures, mainly in the 70s and 80s. With generally a dry climate, not a lot of humidity. Whereas Miami sees more weather extremes, I guess you could say. It does get a lot hotter in the summer and a lot more humid as well. And yeah, of course, you do see some crazy weather happen in Miami from time to time. Like I said, there are the afternoon thunderstorms, and there's also something called hurricanes. Yeah, that's a thing. Because Miami has a tropical climate, it really doesn't have the four seasons. It doesn't have a fall, winter, spring, and summer. It has more of a wet season and dry season. Dry season occurring during the traditional winter months and the wet season happening during the traditional summer months. Let's say from May to October. That would be rainy season. A few more points I want to bring up, guys. The seventh point is the number of things to do in both cities. And because both cities are just so big, both cities are global, cosmopolitan, international cities, there are a lot of things to do in both places. So let me start off with LA. LA's got a lot. It's got great beaches. You got Santa Monica Beach, Venice Beach, Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach, Malibu. You also got the mountains. You got the Hollywood Hills, the San Gabriel Mountains as well. You even have skiing not too far away. I think Big Bear is maybe just a couple hours drive from LA. So we have a lot of things that you can do thanks to what Mother Nature can provide for you. You have the hills, so that means you got hiking, you got skiing as well in the winter, and you got the beaches. So a lot of sun tanning, a lot of surfing, everything that comes with beach life. And then of course, LA is a very big city, and there are a lot of attractions to do in LA. You can go up to the Hollywood sign in the Hollywood Hills. You can go up to the Griffith Observatory. You can check out some great museums like the Getty Museum or the Getty Villa, or you can even just check out Hollywood and see the Hollywood Walk of Fame. There's a lot that you can do in LA, and if you have time, you can check out Beverly Hills and Bel Air and see where some of your favorite movie stars live in their glorious mansions. So there are a lot of things to do in LA. On top of that, all the major studios are based in LA, so you can check out a few live shows. You can even check out Universal Studios, and down in Orange County, you can check out Disneyland. So lots of things to do in Los Angeles. Miami has a lot of things to offer as well. I don't think it has the same number of things or the same type of things, but obviously the beaches here are an attraction. Miami's known for some of the best beaches in the United States. You have Miami Beach, which is world famous. You have the Art Deco district within Miami Beach, which is known for its 1920s Art Deco architecture. The beach itself is a fantastic beach with some great restaurants and great nightlife located there as well. Around Miami, you got Key Biscayne. You got some great state parks like Oleta State Park that you can check out, where you can do a lot of water sports like kayaking and stand-up paddleboarding. So like LA, there are a lot of outdoor activities that you can do in Miami. You can't take advantage of any mountainous activities just because there are no mountains in Florida, in Miami, but there are still plenty of beach sports, beach activities, and water activities that you can do. What you don't have in Miami are things like theme parks. You don't have Universal Studios or Disneyland. All that is located up in Orlando, which is about a 3.5-hour drive. So I think the main things that you can do in Miami are, beaches, water activities. You can also check out some cool neighborhoods in Miami, like Little Havana, the Miami Design District, Coconut Grove, and of course, Brickell and downtown. So Miami has quite a bit to offer, but I think LA might have Miami beat by virtue of the fact that the studios are based there and some of the theme parks are based there too. I think LA might have more to offer. Let's not forget though that both cities are very well represented by the sports and the sporting events that are located and take place there. Miami's home to NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, and NHL franchises. And of course, so is Los Angeles. In fact, Los Angeles has 2 teams in each major league: NHL, MLB, NFL, and NBA. Yeah, LA's got 2 teams represented in each league. That's insane. That's amazing. And both cities have their fair share of major sporting events as well. Miami just had the Super Bowl recently, and it also hosts the Miami Open tennis tournament, whereas Los Angeles has also hosted the Super Bowl as well and will continue hosting Super Bowls in years to come. So there are a lot of sporting events that take place in both cities. One thing I just touched upon right now that I want to bring up is the beaches. Both cities have amazing beaches, excellent beaches. Whether you're in LA or Miami, you can take advantage of some big, wide open beaches that people love to flock to. Los Angeles has great beaches like Santa Monica Beach, Venice Beach, Manhattan, Redondo, Hermosa Beach. Great beaches that line the entire coast of the city. And Miami has pretty much the same thing. Miami has, like I said, Miami Beach. It also has beaches further north like Hollywood Beach, Hollandale Beach, Sunny Isles, and Key Biscayne, located just south of the city of Miami as well. So both cities have their fair share of beautiful, wide open beaches. I actually think that Miami beaches are a little bit better than the beaches in LA for a number of reasons. Number one, the sand. The sand in and around the Miami area is a very fine and clean white sand. It is just gorgeous to look at. It looks very beautiful, especially when contrasting it with that turquoise Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea, Caribbean water. And speaking of the water in and around Miami, this water here is so warm. It's like a bath. The ocean water here, I guess, would be considered the Atlantic Ocean, and the Caribbean is just so warm. You find thousands of people bathing in the water, especially during the summer months. So I do prefer Miami beaches in that sense. LA beaches, on the other hand, though, they're very big, very spacious, very wide open. Santa Monica Beach, Venice Beach, these are huge beaches. There are so many things that you can do on the beach as well. They seem to be very active and lively. In California, you have piers. For some reason, we don't have piers here in Miami. I don't know what happened. I guess they get washed away by hurricanes or something, but you guys have the piers in LA. So LA beaches, while they might not be as aesthetically beautiful, they are very fun places to hang out at. So both cities have great beaches. They just tend to differ from one another slightly because of their climates. All right, last two things here I want to touch upon is the industries in both cities. And this is important if you're looking to get a job in either LA or Miami. LA is dominated by several industries. Yes, it is the hub of the entertainment industry. Yes, Hollywood is in LA, and the whole industry is pretty much based in Los Angeles, based in Hollywood. On top of that, however, other industries that are very prominent in the Los Angeles area include the aerospace industry, the oil and gas industry, as well as the tech industry. So there are a lot of different industries that are very well represented in Los Angeles. So is financial services. The finance industry and banking is very big in LA. So there are many different industries that have a presence there. So if you're looking to get a job in Southern California, in LA, I think there are many different industries that you can choose from. Miami, on the other hand, also has many industries that are present in the city. I think the main industry in Miami is the travel and hospitality industry. You have a lot of cruise lines based in Miami. You have some airlines based here as well as some hotels. So much how LA is associated with the entertainment industry, I think Miami is pretty well associated with the travel and hospitality industry. With that being said, banking and finance is also very big in Miami. Miami hosts the regional headquarters for many global banks. So there are quite a few industries based in Miami. Travel and hospitality, I would say, being the leading industry, but banking is also big. And of course, you do have other companies like Burger King is headquartered here. I didn't know that, but they are, which is awesome. And the tech industry is also pretty present here as well. So like LA, Miami has a mix of industries located here. So if you're looking to find a job in LA or Miami, there are many different industries to choose from if you want to find a job. Okay, and the last point I want to bring up is the cost of living. Now, both cities are actually relatively expensive when compared to the rest of the United States. But with that being said, Los Angeles is significantly more expensive than Miami. In fact, when looking at the latest statistics, living in LA is about 40% more expensive than living in Miami. So it's gonna cost you 40% more to live in Los Angeles. With that being said, they're both pretty expensive. I think the biggest difference in living in both cities is not things that you might do on a daily basis. Doing the groceries, going out for restaurants, going to bars, transportation costs. All these things are actually relatively comparable in both cities. I didn't really notice a difference in cost in those things. The main difference, the thing that makes LA much more expensive to live in than Miami, is housing costs. Again, taking a look at the latest statistics, LA's housing costs are double that of Miami. So like a $200,000 home in Miami would cost you $400,000 in LA, or a 2-bedroom apartment renting for $1,500 in Miami is gonna cost you $3,000 a month in LA. So the housing costs are much more expensive in LA. Regardless of whether you're looking to move to either one of those cities, or if you're looking to move from LA to Miami or Miami to LA, keep in mind that LA is significantly more expensive than Miami, particularly when it comes to housing costs. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. I hope you liked the video. I hope you found it informative. Did I miss anything, or was I wrong about something? I don't think I was wrong. I think I was pretty spot on with every point I brought up. But if there was something I was wrong about, or if there was something that I missed, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, what are some of the differences you've noticed? What have you noticed about living in LA versus Miami, or visiting either city? I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't be shy. Let me hear from you. I really appreciate it. And guys, like I said earlier, if you like this video, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me understand what type of content I should keep putting out there. And if you haven't done so already, guys, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I come out with other great and similar content. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sticking around. I'll talk to you soon.